Hello, everyone. I think we're going to start now because some people are having technical problems, but we will record this meeting so we can send it to anyone who doesn't make it today. But well done to all of you for managing with the technology to get here on time. And well done to everyone for making it to this point in the Young Active Citizens Awards. Give yourselves a round of applause. We'll do this little reaction here, clapping. So well done to you all. So the meeting today is basically to discuss what the next step is. So according to that email that went out to all of you, the first thing is that all of you, the semi-finalists, meaning the second round people, as well as the finalists, all of you will be doing the video, the short video. When I say short, 5 minutes is maximum. Like if you can do it in 2 minutes, even better. It's just a little video that you record, just announcing what your project is, what it's all about, what you did. Like that's what it is. So I'm going to go in detail about that. And then also on that email that I sent, there was a little tip sheet, how to record videos that look professional. So you can use that just for advice. Like if you're going to shoot a video, make sure it's landscape, not portrait, because then it looks very weird when all of them are landscape, like a normal movie, and then suddenly there's a portrait one. Like you can't put them together. So try and copy those guidelines that were emailed to you. I'll also go through them. And then also just to talk about those who are still, the second round people who are still working on changes to see if they're going to manage to qualify to be in the finals. Like make sure that you do as much as you can and send it through as soon as you can. I know the deadline is the 10th of December, but the sooner the better. And if you have any questions or anything that you don't understand or you want to find out more, just send an email. We'll come back to you. We'll let you know. I think the best thing to do is just do more. More is better than less, but do more. I'm just hearing someone says we can't hear you. Can everyone else hear me? If you can hear me, do thumbs up. Okay, everyone else can hear me. So whoever said they can't hear me, please check your audio settings or microphone, your speakers, because everyone else can. Okay, great. So I'll start with the feedback. So the quality of the projects, obviously this year is very different to the usual years. Like we've been running YCAP for 11 years, and we usually run it as a school program where it's workshops, in-person workshops, and then district rounds where we give feedback as judges, and then provincial rounds where we give more feedback, and then national rounds. So there's a whole process that normally goes into it, and it's usually with the teacher that is the mentor. So because of COVID this year, obviously we couldn't do that. Schools were closed. We couldn't run programs as usual. So the way we did it this year was, it was anyone who wants to enter can enter as an individual. You don't have to enter as part of a team. You don't have to enter with the teacher being your mentor. Like some people had their grandmothers being their mentor. So it was really interesting this year to see different ways of doing things and different projects that came through. And then obviously this year adding the different elements instead of only the action program, the research and the creative. So that was more options, which is cool. And then the different topics. So usually it's you choose what topic you need. And this time the topic was, there was a list of topics to choose from, all things that are very relevant to our country and to the world. So well done to all of you for figuring that out and for making sure that you managed to use the format correctly. Someone from Hayani Tomo has raised their hand. What would you like to ask? Yes. Your signal's very bad. Can't really hear you. If I can't hear you, maybe you should type it in the chat. Can't hear much at all. Oh. Sorry, I can't hear you. I think rather just type it in the chat and then I'll read it out and answer you because your signal's bad. I can't even hear anything you're saying. Signal issues. So that's another thing for the finals. Please make sure that you go to a place that has, good Wi-Fi so that you don't have this problem. Unfortunately, with technology, we have to look at all those things in advance. So if you know that the area you're in is bad, try and find somewhere else that you can go to for that event and have good Wi-Fi where you can have access and not have issues. Okay, so talking about the video now. So the video should be very short. And basically what we want to do is just a few different things. I'm going to email this to you as well with the recording of this video. So basically it's the name, you say your name, you say what school you're from, you say what province, and you say which topic you chose. You say what project type it was, the research, action, or creative. You say what the impact was. If it's an action project, you'll say what your impact was. And you can list a few different actions that you took and what impact there was. Or if it was the research project, then you say what were your recommendations. Because remember, with the research, you weren't going to act out any of the recommendations. You're going to talk about what could be done. But they should be recommendations that can be actionable if you decided to go and do them. So not only general things, like some projects were like, the government must do this, the government must do that. That's all very well and good, but what can you do in your community? That's what we're looking for. We want to know what you personally can do as a change agent and active citizen. So remember, apply it to your local situation because it has to be actionable. And then the third one was the creative one. So if you did a creative project, you say, what was your creative project, why you did that, and what the impact was of it. So let's say it was an awareness video, and you say, well, we showed this video to 10 people, and then we got feedback, and all 9 of them were saying, this video really changed my outlook. It explained things to me in a way that it hadn't made sense before. The video has really made an impact on me. So that's basically what you do in the video. And then the last bit is your learnings. So what did you learn while doing the project? Whether it's you learned how to be a public speaker, or whether you learned how to make a video, or whether you learned how to follow the toolkit and you learned skills from there, whatever you want to say, but just a few lines on that. And if you're in a team, you can each say something, or you can nominate one person to be your spokesperson for the team. So that's up to you. And then you put that all either in a WhatsApp, if it's short enough, you can WhatsApp it. If not, you can WeTransfer it, the WeTransfer link, and then you send us the link to the info@empowervate.org. So that you can start working on even now, like semi-finalists, meaning second round, and finalists all have to do that video because we're going to put them all on our YouTube channel. So whether you are a finalist or not, it's still going to be on our YouTube channel and our website. So please do that. Are there any questions about that video? If you have any questions, maybe type them in the chat so we don't have any signal issues. Or is everyone clear? If you're clear, then you can. Okay, there's someone with a raised hand, but I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to hear you. Maybe just type in the chat.
Can you hear me?
Okay, I can hear you.
Yes. I just wanted you to repeat a little bit for me the requirements for those who did an action project, like what needs to be in the video again. I just want to capture, I missed some of the points. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. So the video will be the same for everyone in these elements. The first one is your name. So the name, let's say you are the team leader, you say your name, or you're the individual, or you are in a group, then you'll each say your names. Then what school are you from? So you'll say the school. Then what province? Say the province. Then you say what topics did you choose? So was it COVID-19? Was it gender-based violence, unemployment? What was your topic? Okay. Then you say what was your project type? So you say we did an action project, or we did a research project, or we did a creative project. So one of those, or sometimes people combine them. So you can say we did an action and research project. Okay. Then you say what was, if it was an action project, you say what was the impact? Because remember, with an action project, you have already done the actions. So now you have to say what was the impact? What change did those actions make towards your problem? The problem is your topic. So let's say the problem was unemployment, and then your action was you were helping people write CVs. And then the impact would be 5 people got jobs now because of your help with the CVs. They managed to get jobs, which solved the unemployment problem for those 5 people, right? So that is the example of the action project. And you would say it exactly like I said it now. So what did you do about it, and how did you measure the change? You have to measure it. It can't just be, we did these actions. What did those actions achieve? So measure that. And then if it was a research project, then you would say, what were your recommendations? So research is basically the toolkit up to a certain point, and then you can't continue because you didn't do the actions, because it's a research project. It's researching what could be done, okay? So the research one, you would say, we would recommend that hospitals, do workshops in schools and explain what COVID is about. We are going to invite our local hospital nurse to come to our school and talk to us about how to maintain cleanliness and hygiene. Okay, this is an example. Another recommendation, we would, make sure that everyone wears their masks properly. We'll do classroom to classroom visits in the new year, where we go and show them that the mask mustn't be worn over just your mouth, it must be over your nose as well, and why that's important. So examples of what you would recommend to solve that problem, okay? And then it was the creative topic. Then for the creative one, you would say, okay, so the creative project was, we did a video drama, let's say, and then we showed this video to a group of people, and we did research on how they actually responded to this video. So when they watched that video, there must be a change in them. They must have got awareness. They must have got, some kind of insight, some kind of understanding. Maybe they're going to change the behavior because of that video. So it can't just be a video that's very fun to watch and you're like, oh, great, okay, we've done the video, we're done. What was the impact of your video? Did it make people understand the project, the topic more? Did it make people think more about it? Did it make people change their way of acting? So that's why that format is going to be followed for all of them. And then the last thing is the learning. So what did you learn as young people while doing the project? Remember, this is all about active citizens. So you learn to be an active citizen. What skills did you learn, or what talents did you discover will help you to do that? Let's say you were very shy before, and now because you've had to do this project, you're much more confident speaking in public. That's already one thing that you learned. Maybe you managed to, overcome a problem that you had where you didn't know how to budget. And now with this project, you had to be in charge of budgeting and you learned how to budget. So whatever it was that you learned, it can be one line. It doesn't have to be a whole essay. Remember, I said the maximum is 5 minutes. Okay. And then basically that will all be in a video that you can either send on WhatsApp, or we transfer it. We transfer is a free website where you can send the link. You take that link that we transfer sends you, and then you send it to us, info@empowervate.org. Okay, so those are the video tips. Does anyone else have questions about the video tip? Sorry, someone is just trying to get into the meeting room and they're having issues. Got some questions here. Okay, the impact of the research project is, what are your recommendations? Also, another impact of the research project could be what you learned while doing the research. So while doing the research, you discovered things that you didn't know. That's the point of research, right? So that is another way that you could talk about the research element, because the research has given you new knowledge. You've done more in-depth analysis of the topic than what you already knew before. That's another way that you can do it. Okay, I'm just finding this the link to send to this person who's stuck. Okay. Some people did do a mixture, a question here, a mixture between a research and action project. So that's fine. Then you'd have to mention both of those in your video. So you'd say we did a research and action project, and then you give one impact for the action and then one research part. So you can discuss both sides of it, because otherwise you would have just called it an action project if that's all you were focusing on. But if you were focusing on research and action, then you have to mention both and say what you learned from the research part, what was the recommendation, and then what action you did as part of the action project. So if you had both, then talk about both. Hope that answers your question. Let me see if anyone else has questions. Okay, we've got hands raised by Yasmin and Kakisano. Have you had your questions answered, or you still need to ask them?
Yes, I have further questions.
Okay, wait, so I've got Kakisano and Yasmin. Let's do Kakisano first and then Yasmin.
Okay. I'm not sure if I'm jumping the gun, but I realized that in the email, there were attachments, and one of those attachments contains video tips.
Yes.
And
you're
gonna go through them.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's no need for me to ask. I'll ask when you have already gone through it.
Okay, perfect. Yasmin?
With the 5-minute presentation, is it for the semi-finals or finals?
Both, because we're going to put both of them on our website and on our YouTube channel. So all of them will be on there. Whether you make it to the finals or not, both rounds are going on there. Okay, anyone else? Okay, there's a question from Greg.
Good afternoon. It's Greg Landau here, speaking from King David Victory Park High School. I've just got a question with regards to the date of when this video is due. I might have missed it in the email, but would you mind just repeating that date, just so I can have that down?
Okay, so the sooner the better. Whoever can do it, the sooner the better. But by next week, we want to get it before the 10th. Like before the 10th, we want to have it because we need to now compile and put them on the YouTube channels, all of that. And if you have any questions before then, you know, it's better if you have time so that you can come back and say, look, I don't understand this, or it's not working, whatever. So the sooner the better. Does that answer the question?
Thank you.
Pleasure. Okay, and then we have Christmas Tinto wants to ask a question. Christmas Tinto, you had your hand up, or you fine? Okay. Greg, you want to ask another question, or are you fine?
Apologies.
Okay. Okay, so those are the videos. So as I said, the sooner the better. Start working on them now. They little intro videos. That's what they are. They're basically giving an overview of your project. Okay. The next question was, have the finalists already been chosen? So in the email, you saw the top people that were mentioned. It said next to their names, finalists. So those were the finalists that have already been chosen, like they already are finalists. They don't have to do anything to become finalists, they are finalists. And then underneath that, there were the second round people who have a second chance to become finalists as well and join that top group of people who are finalists. So that means that those people in the second group still have to submit the changes they've made to their projects and to see if they actually manage to make it into that group of finalists. There's no guarantees. We have to see, you know, the adjudication will take place again, and then they will be announced and say out of that group, let's say 4 of them have made it through and now they've joined the finalists. So we will announce that as soon as we've got all of those resubmissions from the second group. If you are already a finalist and you want to also, you know, improve your projects and beef them up and add to them, you are welcome to as well. Remember, it's a points-based system. As you saw, the points are listed on that sheet. So if you can see your points were, let's say 180, and there was another school that was 200, then you know already that you're 20 points behind that person, right? So if you want to do better, you're welcome to. But then obviously once the judging takes place at the finals, there will be the added element of the Q&A with the judges, which will add another 5 points. It's not a lot, but 5 points can make the difference between first and second place. So that is the final decider, because that Q&A will be to see more depth, more detail, something that the judges want to see that they haven't seen yet in your projects. But the projects do count most of the mark. 90% of the mark is the projects. And then that, you know, a little bit extra will be the Q&A. So make sure that you're happy with your projects. If there's anything that you weren't happy with, or there's something that you wanted to do better on, you're welcome to. You have time. Send them before the 10th of December. Please, not on the 10th or after the 10th. We have to draw a line there because we have to decide who the finalists are and announce those. So you have the ability to make change. Okay, so it's not over for anyone really. Kakisano has a question again. Do you have a question?
Yes, ma'am, we do.
Yes.
We are part of the top 6 finalists already. So there is no need for us to include anything other than the video. I'm asking this question because our project is continuous, right? So we are having certain activities during the 16 days of activism, and some of those activities will be before the 10th. So I was asking, even though we are in the finalists, should we forward some of this continuous impact of our project?
Yes, you can add a separate section where you say what you've done since. You can add at the end like an appendix, and you can say this is what we've done since we submitted the project. It's always good to see that it's continuous, so you're welcome to do that. You can add it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, anyone else have questions? Okay, let's go through that document that was sent. I'll just share it here on the screen. Tell me if you can all see this. Put a thumbs up if you can see it. Okay, I've got a thumbs up, so I know. So basically, this is something that one of my video partners had used for another client of his. And I just said, send me the document because the information here is valid for what we're doing as well. So forget about this section here about Carol. There's no Carol involved here. So that's their thing. But WeTransfer, you can still use. As you see on the screen here, WeTransfer.com. And then it says lighting or where to film. So if you're outdoors, either film in the early morning or the late afternoon when the light is softer. When it's 12 o'clock and the light's right above your head, it makes everything too bright. It doesn't look good. Or do it in a shadier area. Don't do it in direct sunlight. Ensure that the sun is in front of you, shining in your face so we can clearly see your face. Because if the sun's behind you, then your face goes dark, okay? So that is important to note. If you're indoors, sit near a window and face the window or put a lamp behind your phone so you can light your face. As you can see in the examples, the light behind you makes you look all like a ghost, and the light that is in front of you makes you look like your features are showing up much better. So ensure also that the background is clear and tidy. Check your background. Then for the composition in the frame, make sure that you're in the middle of the frame. So don't have someone cut off in half or someone in the corner, and then the rest of it is just nothing. So make sure the person's in the middle and you can see them clearly, and make sure it's eye level. You don't want to have someone talking down or up. This looks very odd. So just make sure they're eye level when you talk to them, especially if you're interviewing someone. Connect with your audience. So look directly into the phone or device, because then it looks like the people are talking to the viewer, the person watching the video. And then if you have an external microphone, those ones that you plug into your phone, you can use those because it's better sound than your phone. So you can try that. If you have those or AirPods or anything like that, you can use that. And then if you're getting shots of the environment, you can make sure that you film things that are clear, that you can see what they are and describe what they are. So if let's say you want to film something that is part of your projects and you want to show what it is, then you can point to it and you can say, this is the whatever, and describe what it is. Because sometimes just seeing it doesn't actually make sense to the people watching. So describe what it is that you're showing, and then you can use wide shots, medium shots, close-up shots. That's all just artistic preference, okay? Then yeah, that's it. So just basically what this is about is just be aware when you're filming something that you can't just, have like a shaky hand. Make sure that someone is holding it still, or they're leaning their elbows on something when they're holding the phone, so that you're not getting that shakiness. And make sure it's landscape. You don't want it to be filmed portrait, which is this way. You want it landscape. That is the best way to film. That is the way that movies are made. They're this way. So whenever you're filming, do it this way. Make sure it's steady. Don't shake around a lot. And if there's a lot of background noise, I saw some of the videos that were sent in, there was like wind or something, very noisy, couldn't really hear what the person was saying. Just check that and make sure that you're having a place that is not like that. It's not windy, or go to an indoor setting if it is windy outside, because you don't want to have that kind of sound that's distracting. It's causing noise and distracting you from what you're watching. So those are some of the tips. Do you have any questions about these tips? Or you're fine? If you're fine, you can put shot. Okay, we've got one shot. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing this. Okay, then we've got questions now about, are we going to select the top 3 winners in each category or type of project? We're going to announce all of that at the event on the 16th. Let me go through the event now. So the event on the 16th is from 10 o'clock till 1 o'clock. It's going to be on Zoom, similar to this, but run by another company. So a company that knows how to run things smoothly, change this between video and live interaction, so that I don't have to be the IT person. So that's what's happening there. And at the event, there will be a program, you'll have introductory, addresses. We'll have an MC who will do the in-between discussions. We'll have the panel of judges who will introduce. The panel of judges that judge your first round projects was our support team. So people who've been involved in YCAP for many years, many of them are alumni. They've been part of YCAP over 11 years or less, and they wanted to give back and be part of the program. So they have been part of the judging panel for the first round. And now for the finals, there's another panel of judges, and many of them have judged finals before. And some of them you'll recognize if you've been part of YCAP. If you haven't, you won't. But they're all in business themselves. You know, they very established in their careers, and they know what YCAP is, then understand it, and they understand that obviously the new way of running this program this year. We do a whole workshop with them and explain what we're looking for and how it's different from the previous years. And then at that event, they will go into a breakaway room while we're listening to our motivational speakers and our guest speakers, and they will deliberate and choose the final winners. And then they will announce that, and we will announce what the prizes are and everything. And we will courier those to you probably in the new year, because everyone's going to be on holiday. So we'll have to bring them when the schools go back. And that's something to look forward to, which is nice. And everyone gets certificates of participation for everyone who submitted their projects. That's already confirmed. And then obviously for those who made second round, we get those certificates. If you made finalists, those certificates, and then obviously the top 3 and you know, whatever else comes out of that. And then the nice thing about it is that we've also got, you know, the opportunity to share that video on YouTube afterwards. So people actually see what the program was all about. They'll be able to watch it. They'll see your projects. It will give you a lot of exposure. It'll be on social media. It'll be on our website. It'll be on YouTube. So you can share it with your friends and family, and you can really be celebrities, you know, showing off that you have been active citizens and making a very big impact where you are. So that is exciting about this year. You know, usually we can't share it straight away. We have to wait to get the highlights video, which takes a while. This time, straight away after the event, we're going to have a video. So that's very exciting. And I say all of you should be proud of yourself from already where you are. As I say, you're all going to have your videos shown. So even before we go to that final round, you're already going to be known, which is very nice. And the cool thing about it is that when you are, you know, interviewed by the judges, then it feels like you're a celebrity, because you are now being interviewed by a panel of judges. You know, it feels like you're on Shark Tank or one of those kind of pitching shows. I'm sure you guys know what that is. Dragon's Den and all of those. It's like that. You have to pitch your project. That's what those videos are. Do you have any more questions about the finals, or any questions about anything else that we've talked about? Or is everyone cool? You all okay?
And
Okay, Kasano's back again. Yes?
yeah, I have 2 questions. The first one is directed at the shots of the environment. Maybe there's something I'm missing there. I just want to take you to the 7th slide.
Yes, I saw. So the shots of the environment was basically if your project involved something environmental and you wanted to show it, like let's say you'd built something, or you wanted to show a specific setting, or maybe some part of your project that you have to show, then you can show it. Like that's fine, but just describe what it is. Say, okay, over here you've got the field that we've cleaned and made beautiful and whatever. There it is, there's the field. So that kind of environmental shot. But remember, it's a very short video, so don't spend too much time on that. That's just if you want to give an example of what you've been working on. But the main thing is the stuff that I spoke about: your name, your school, your province, your topic, your project type, impact, recommendation or creative action, and learnings. That's the main stuff. If you have time and it's not 5 minutes are not up yet, then you can show some environmental stuff as well. Because remember, your projects are being judged. These videos are like introductory videos. They're not the main bulk of what they're judging. That's just for the audience and everyone else to understand what this is all about and what you did. So don't stress about the video. Just have fun with it.
Thank you. Okay. The second one, it's on the finals.
Yes.
Would you please, I missed some points when you were speaking about the prices and all that.
Yeah, so we're going to announce all the prizes and everything once we've got all of the finalists. Remember, we don't know who the finalists are. What happens if there's only one creative finalist? I'm giving an example. Let's say there's one creative finalist. Then does that mean that they automatically win? No. So we don't know yet if we're going to judge by category. We don't know if it's going to be a research and action and a creative winner. We don't know that yet. There might be 2 creative winners. You know what I'm saying? So we don't want to say now what that process is until we get all of those finalists, which is only by the 11th of December, because people are still submitting from the second round. We're waiting for all of those submissions, and then we'll see what we get. And that's how we're going to come up with that. It's the first time we're running it like this. So we don't want to go through old, ways of doing things and try and fit this into that. We're going to be flexible and make sure that it all works out in a nice way, that everyone has a good opportunity and that it makes sense. So that's why we can't announce now if there's going to be, 1 winner per category or 5 winners per category. We don't know yet. So I can't tell you that. And the prizes, they include tablets, they include like backpacks and things like that, flash drives, beanies, all that kind of stuff. And then there might be also some prize money. We don't yet know how we're going to do that. It depends on the categories. So we don't know how much it is yet, but we will definitely have that all organized by the time we have the finals. So you will know that. But it's not all about that, guys. Remember, you're not here because you want to get, 5 million Rand, which is definitely not going to be the prize money. We don't have that money. But, it shouldn't be about that. It should be about showcasing what you're doing, and the prize is like a secondary bonus, and you should be excited about getting the amazing prize you're going to get, but not focused on that. Like, I don't want this to be like the lotto where you only focus on winning. It's not about winning. It's about making change in your environment and making everyone aware that you're active citizens. So I just want the focus to be on that rather. And then obviously if you win and everything's great, then congrats to you and it's awesome and you'll love your prize. But don't be focused on that as just the main reason why you're doing this, is my point.
Thanks, Amanda.
Pleasure. Does anyone else have a question? There's someone in the chat. How many points can you still get when you complete the feedback? Well, that depends how much you put into your completion of that project. If you look at the adjudication sheets, each section has the maximum amount of points. So you could get the maximum amount of points if you put in all the effort. You can get 10 out of 10. It's not impossible to do that. Maybe what I should do is show the adjudication sheet. Would that help everyone?
Yes.
Okay, so you look at the adjudication sheet and then you'll know what it looks like. Okay. Okay, can everyone see this? Thumbs up if you can see it. Okay, we've got a thumbs up. So as you see at the top, we fill in who it is, which school, which learners or team leader, which province, how many years they've been involved in YCAP, what level, beginner, advanced or mastery. That is more for YCAP, not for this kind of program, because everyone is basically joining this kind of program for the first time. So we don't bother with that section. Category, primary school or high school. And then this is the section that is based on the toolkit. So remember in the toolkit, if you look at the table of contents, all of that is in here. So team formation, that's step 1. Step 2, roles and responsibilities. Step 3, research, SWOT, mind map or stairway, that stairway diagram. 4 is identify and describe the topic. 5 is to find the target market and brainstorm the solutions. 6 is the action plans and budget. 7 is managing the team and actions. 8 is the impact section. So we split that into 3. So there's relevant evidence, proving impact of solution and showing sustainability. And then 9 is talk, communication and motivation. 10 is personal and team development. Then 11 is the portfolio completion and professionalism. So overall, how does it look? 12 is public speaking and Q&A. So that didn't really apply to most of it, unless it was something like a creative video and there was a drama, then that would come in there. And then obviously 13 videos, posters, PowerPoint. If you had any of those, that will go in there. So as you can see, a maximum score here, because they're all out of 10, would be 150. So if you did brilliantly, amazingly, everything was so perfect, and you did everything on this list for the action project, remember this is the action project, then you would get, let's say the maximum mark is 150 out of 150, but then you'd have to be amazing to get that. Not everyone is going to get that amount of marks. And then if you look at the bottom here, the research project and the creative project. So if you saw in the guidelines, it said which are the compulsory sections of this action project part to do. There were certain steps that you had to do. Okay. If you did all of them, even better, you get bonus marks. Like, always do as much as you can. Don't just do the bare minimum. That is the life lesson. If someone says you only have to do steps 1, 2, and 3, and you do all the steps, you're going to get extra points. Like, that's just life. Do that. I would recommend, if you didn't do all the steps, go and do all the steps. Even if it said you only need to do a certain amount, because that's going to get you more points, and you need more points. So that you'd have to do, all of the projects have to do this first section. Every single project has to use the toolkit. Otherwise, it's not a YCAP project. It's just any random competition, right? That's why we sent you the toolkits, because we want to empower you with these skills which are in the toolkit, right? Then the research project, you get an extra 70 points if you got all 10 out of 10 for that, if you did a research project. So sources, are they mentioned? Did you mention the sources you used to get your research findings? Did you discuss or apply the information, or you just like copied and pasted? You know, did you talk about it? Did you discuss it? Did you analyze it? Okay. Are there primary sources, example, interviews, or did you only look at books or only look at the internet? So if you went and did interviews with people and you found information firsthand from people, can be people in your school, can be people in your community, can be, professionals, whoever it is that was relevant to your topic, did you do that? So that would be primary sources, okay? Then how long is the essay and is it in depth? So basically, was it like a little, 2-paragraph discussion? That's it, done, like very basic, no detail? Or was it in depth and it really went into the heart of the issue? So that's what that means. What is the quality of the writing? And how much detail was there in that? Was it written in a way that you could tell there was a beginning, a middle, and an end? That it was organized in a structured way, it made sense? The quality of the writing, were there a lot of typos and spelling mistakes and grammar errors? I mean, obviously we don't expect you to be university students, so we don't expect that level, but we do expect you to spell check. Like, don't have those little errors that come up. Go and check your work and make sure that everything is right. Does it flow and have structure? Is it actually making sense that it goes from one thing to the next, or it's just like little paragraphs put together in a random way? And then, are there recommendations or solutions? And that's important. When I say recommendations, remember I said to you, if you were to have to action this, if someone said to you tomorrow, okay, take that research project and now do the actions that you recommended, could you do that? So don't do a recommendation like the government must do this, or our leaders must do that, because you can't control what they do. Remember, you're an active citizen. This program's about active citizenship. So what could you do in your situation to make that problem less? It doesn't have to be changing the whole country. It can change your specific situation in your school, your community. And that's what we want to see in that recommendation solution section, okay? So go into detail about that as well. Don't just give 2 lines and be like, okay, I've done it. I recommended two sentences, then I'm done. Talk about it a bit more and say what you would recommend. If it was the creative project that you did, then this section here is what they would mark. That's also out of 70, right? So was there a clear purpose of the item? So what is the reason? Why did you do that creative project? Was there a purpose behind it? Did you go in there saying, we want to change attitudes or behaviors, or we want to inspire people, or what was the reason for this? Why did you do it, okay? How was the quality of the item? Like, as I said to you in the video tips just now, was the sound okay? You could hear what was going on. Was the video recorded in a good way? It wasn't all shaky and, not nice to watch. Was, when I say written, did you write down a script before? You just spoke, randomly in 5 minutes and that was your project, Did you plan it? That's what we want to see. Then was there creativity in the presentation? So was it just like you sat down and you interviewed someone for 5 minutes, like just that's it? That's quite boring. Okay, so think about it. How could I make this more creative? What can I do differently? So was there creativity in there? Was there originality? Was it original? The thought of it, maybe the drama that you did, was it something very different, or the way that you did it, or the topic that you chose to do it on and how you put it together? Maybe the way you did the creative project was very original. Okay. Are there recommendations or solutions? According to that creative project, was there something that you would recommend or give a solution for? Was there talent? Maybe there's a talent in the group, like let's say there's someone who is really good at drama, like they're brilliant actors in that group. Or there was the talent of the person who came up with the concept of what they were going to do, or the talent of the person who put together the portfolio. So identification of talent, which is also part of step 10, if you see here, professional team development analysis. So that would also be here. So it would be just mentioned, fleshed out in the creative project? And then was it professional? So was it something that someone would want to watch, not like this shaky video with the person in the corner that you can't hear? You know, was it done in a way that you would want to see and you'd want to watch if you were an outside person that didn't even know that this was a competition? They just thought, this is an awareness video and I want to watch it. So those are like the guidelines that we used. And then at the bottom here is questions and comments, talent identification and compliments. So sometimes judges fill that in, they don't have to, but there could be things like questions, you know, let's say there was some money spent and there was no budget. So they'd say, what happened to the budget? That's what they would write there. Or a comment, they'd say, well done on the video. Or talent identification, your public speaking is amazing. You know, so that's basically how it works. And then the total scores get added up and they put you at the final score. So that's what is used for judging. Do you have any questions on that? Is everyone okay with it? Does it make sense?
Yes.
So what I want you guys to do is look at this as a learning experience. Remember, I said to you, didn't have workshops, you didn't have district rounds, you didn't have provincial rounds. So this what I'm doing now is basically trying to put that all into one little package. So if there is anything that you don't understand or you want me to explain, maybe there's a step in here that you were trying to understand, like let's say the stairway, and you didn't understand what is the stairway, then come back to me. You can either come back to me privately on email, or you can WhatsApp and just ask me about that and I'll explain it to you, and then it will make more sense. And then you'll go away from this experience with more skills and with more confidence, because that's what we want. We want this to not be a once off, you know, tick that off the list, we've done this competition. It must be a life skill that you can use in future projects and future things that you do in your life. So we want this to be long-term, not just a short-term thing. So if there is anything that you want assistance with, to understand better, to question, to ask, let us know. You know, it's an open forum for that. We'd rather answer the question now than you go back thinking, I didn't understand anything in that toolkit. I don't even know why I did this. Like, we don't want that to happen, right? We've got some chats here. For sources, do we write the reference next to the text or we add a reference page? That's a good question. Okay, so you write in brackets, you know, the source that it is, but then you say refer to appendix. You know, there's a way of referencing that you can actually Google, a specific way of referencing, or you can put like a 1 next to it. And then in the appendix, you write references and you put the 1 and you say what it was from. So it was a website or a book, you know, who the author was, what year it was published. There's a whole system that you can use to do that. And we're not strict about it. It's not university, so you don't have to do it in that much detail, but you do have to write that you got this from a source. Like, you can't write a whole essay and pretend that all of that is just from your own head. If you got something from a certain place, just put in brackets where it was from, and then you can give more detail on that in the reference section. Okay. And then the next one is, what is the overall mark of the research project? So the research project would be, the overall mark would be this section here on the toolkit. So 150 plus the research project 70. So 150 plus 70, the total of that is the mark for the research project. I think it's 220. Yeah. So that's that question. Then the next one was, what is the maximum points you could have got for creative for the first round? So for creative, it would have been this section here. So 70 creative plus the 150 for the action program. As you see here, 150 plus 70 is 220. So 220 is your maximum mark. If you got any bonus marks, then there would be more than 220. But it shouldn't be that. I don't think anyone got more than 220. Some judges might have been feeling very generous, but I don't think so. So that is basically how it works. Do you have any more questions?
I just wanted to ask, for the, is it the portfolio or the project itself that we need to fix and resubmit on the 10th of December?
Both of them. Just go look at them again and see if there's anything that you can add, either one, or if you have any questions about it, send me a message and I'll check what the adjudication comments were. Maybe they had a comment that said these. So that much we can help you on an individual basis.
Okay.
Anyone else have questions? Okay, so that's all we can really talk about today, because now you have to go back and look at your projects again and see what you need to fix or what you need to change or add. And you know, the thing about this is, as you're doing that, you're learning, right? As you're fixing it and adding, you're going, oh, okay, of course, that's why I got only 5 out of 10 for that step, because I didn't put in all the tools. You know, so you're going to be learning while you're doing it. It's not a wasted exercise. You're going to be benefiting from it. Okay, so there's no like requirements to achieve bonus marks, but the thing is that if you put in above and beyond, and you creative and you're original and you're innovative and you know, make things prettier, then you'll get the highest marks that you can get. So if you were going to get 8 out of 10 just doing it the normal way, but you decide to like add something interesting and extra, then you might get 10 out of 10. And that might be the difference between first and second place. Same as when you do Q&A sessions with the judges. You know, the Q&A session is a bonus mark, basically, because you've already done your project. You're relaxed now. All you're doing now is answering their questions. And maybe the way that you answer the question really impresses them. And they're like, wow, okay, you get full marks for that section. And then you get put above others. Like, that's life. You know, if you put in the extra effort and you go the extra mile, you will go further. If you just do the bare minimum and the basics, then you'll get to a certain point, but you won't go to the top. So that's all up to you. You know, that I can't tell you. There's no requirements to get bonus marks. You know, there's ways to get as many marks as you can, and there's ways to just leave it as it is and just take it as it is. You know, you're already in the finals and you're like, it's fine. I've already got into the finals. I don't have to change anything. I'm happy with this. That's your choice. You know, it's up to you. Okay, for the research project, is it necessary to do step 6, which includes budgeting? So no, it isn't, because you're not doing anything that requires a budget. But if there was something that was related to your project that did require budgeting, then you could add that in. You could say, just doing this research project, it made me have to go to the library, and I had to pay money to get to the library. So I had to go and raise that money, or I had to borrow that money to do that. So you can actually make a budget for something that doesn't really require one, if there was a need for it. And if there wasn't, then you say, step 6, we didn't need to do a budget because everything was available at school. We had internet access, we had books, we had whatever. We didn't need to actually go and spend any money. And that's that. You know, obviously that's what you're going to get. But then obviously in other sections, you might score higher than someone else who had a budget for their project. So, you know, you're going to have an action plan either way. Your action plan will be there. The budget's only a small part of the action plan. The action plan is, how did you put your project together? So that's what that whole section is about. How did you actually put this whole project together? So action, go and do research. Who did it? Amanda. When did she do it? On the 13th of October. All of that's going to be there. It's only the budget that wouldn't be there. So you still get points for that section. On the results list is the total points of 271. Is the extra 51 marks a bonus mark? I think, okay, I'm going to go and relook at that. I'm not sure what that is. It could be a problem. It could be 217 instead of 271. I'm going to just go and check that again. Thanks for pointing that out. I'll go back and relook at the numbers. I think that might have been a typo, 1771, which we also had with the other project where the name was different and I had to change the name. Unfortunately, you know, errors come into it when there's a very small team and very short time to get these things done. So please point them out if you find anything like that. We will sort it out. Okay. Anyone else have any questions or anything else you've noticed that needs to be looked at?
When the judges give you a specific error to point out, do you need to only fix that step only and not look at the rest of the project or the portfolio?
Well, look at your total score and see what it looks like compared to what the total should be. If you see that it's a very small amount, then you know that it's only that step you have to fix. But if you see there's more than that, then relook at everything and just make sure that you cover everything. So the feedback of the judges is not in detail as in every single step. They're going to detail what you must do, but you will see in the score what needs to be fixed. You'll see if you get 5 out of 10, you need to work on that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank
so
you.
just check it.
Okay.
Okay, does anyone else have a question, or can we take this offline if anyone has any specific project related questions to their specific project, you're welcome to contact me. I don't want to waste everyone's time. It's been an hour, it's 3 minutes until an hour. But I think it's going to be a really awesome event on the 16th of December. I look forward to seeing you all there. Whether you make the finals or you're still in the second round, just come and join us. It's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting. You're going to learn a lot. And it will be a good experience for everyone. They're always fun. I know people who've been to nationals before always enjoyed them. It's just that this time it's online. So it's a bit different, but it's still going to be awesome. And I look forward to meeting you again virtually on the 16th of December. Okay, thank you. And thank you to Monica and Karen for their positive feedback. And we will definitely rectify anything that is not making sense, like the 271. We're going to fix it right now to see what that's all about. But definitely we are on track for the 16th of December. We will send you the link.
Can you please send your WhatsApp number? I don't have it.
Okay, I'll put it in the chat. If anyone needs to see it, it'll be in the chat with the email address as well. So email. Okay, and then the WhatsApp. And please keep office hours with those WhatsApps. Don't send me things at midnight because I'm not going to reply. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thanks everyone. See you on the 16th.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.